What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor of Fightful.com here. It is September 12th. We got lots to talk about. 205 Live ain't one of them. I guarantee you that much. We had a loaded Smackdown Live. We had the Mae Young finals, Mae Young Classic finals. I am joined tonight, Jeff Hawkins. What's up?
Hi. A little extra wrestling for us this evening. I enjoyed it.
Don't you wake up early on Wednesdays?
Oh, I wake up at 2 a.m. Yeah, I'm up way past my bedtime tonight, but that's okay.
Also joined by Anna Bauert. Anna, what time is it over there?
1:45 in the afternoon. It's very pleasant today.
Well, guys, if you all don't mind, share our link, share the page, all that good stuff. Of course, you can find all of our podcasts at Fightful.com and FightfulPods.com, as well as MMA, boxing, pro wrestling news, photos, videos, forums, anything you could ask for out of those three. We have them at Fightful.com. Tons of exclusives over there as well. We're going to start by talking about the Mae Young Classic. Kairi Sane, or as Lita calls her, Kaiti Zane, the sister of Sammy, won the Mae Young Classic over Shayna Baszler. Anna, I had somebody just pop up in my mention saying, everybody knew she was going to win. No, they didn't. Really, they didn't. Not at all.
No.
Surprised by this? I
was really hoping that this would be the case. When Shayna Baszler got her into a submission finisher, I was actually screaming at my TV, but she hasn't done the elbow yet. It couldn't happen like that. Last night I was going through all the tournament again, so I went on to the Wikipedia because obviously that's the most accurate of information. But someone had written out the brackets and they had finished it with Shayna Baszler winning with submission. And I was like, how fucking dare you? Do not ruin this for me. But I think the right person won. Shayna Baszler put on a damn good show. They both put on a damn good show the entire tournament. Kairi Sane, I went through every single match and picked out what stood out to me, my favorites. Kairi Sane was on every single one of those. Yeah. And I cannot get the spot with Shayna Baszler and Candice LeRae out of my head. That it happened the way that it needed to happen, and I could not be happier, and I'm a bit emotional right now. Unnecessarily, just because I'm really happy.
I thought it was a clever way that they booked Shayna Baszler going to the finals, because even though she's got a wealth of catch wrestling experience, her wrestling style is categorically different than almost anything else. They had a rookie for her to absolutely crush, then they put her in there with a bunch of veterans that led up to the finals, and I thought that was a very, very smart thing to do. And we'll break down the match moment by moment, all that stuff. But Jeff, what'd you think of the basically it was like almost like a mini pay-per-view there?
Yeah, no, I was surprised at how straight ahead they booked Shayna here, as opposed to kind of monkeying around with it or even teasing anything horsewomen-y. They were very just straight ahead with the match in a tournament kind of setting, which, props to them, because my cynicism was at an all-time high going into this, that this was to set up for something later, and they didn't do that, which is nice. I think there's a few optics they were blind on. This was you don't run this match after the angle on Smackdown to end it. I don't think. I think
it should have went on before.
Yes. You don't try and bring the crowd back up after bringing them down a bit. And also, I mean, the venue I found a bit, or the venue and timing I found a bit questionable. I think maybe No Mercy may have served them a bit better, but the crowd came around towards the end. Overall, good match. I think possibly Shayna's best match of the tournament.
Yeah, if I were them, I would have put this match on at 7:30, right before Smackdown Live. It is tough to follow Vince McMahon getting headbutted and frog splashed. That ain't easy. That's tough, and we'll talk about that at length later. So a few of my notes on match, on the situation, really everything. We're showing the horsewomen walking backstage, and I said it on today's Holy Smokes MMA podcast. I saw Jessamine Duke at an amateur MMA event 6 years ago, and I saw this 6 foot tall girl, really muscular, throwing head kicks, and I was like, she would be good for pro wrestling. I mean, this fighting thing's going okay for her, but I would love to see her in pro wrestling. Kind of crazy how that works out. Jeff, putting makeup on Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, and a bit heavy on the makeup
Weird.
too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because Shayna's a natural tomboy. I don't understand why they needed to glam her up. And I made the joke that she looks like the Wolf Girl from Glow with the heavy eyeliner going. I just, the heavy eyeliner was distracting to me.
Oh,
I think Shayna's.
Wait until those main roster makake ladies get a hold of her. Remember what they did to Bayley a while back?
Oh yeah, I think Shayna's naturally cute without the makeup. But it's also, her veneer is supposed to be tough, badass. I don't think she needs to glam it up. She's the one wrestler where you can make the excuse where no, I don't need to make her look pretty. But that's the company.
She's already pretty.
Yes.
Jeff.
Thank you.
Anna Lillian Garcia was back for this.
Yeah, I love that. The whole thing made it. There was just little things that they did throughout the tournament that made it that bit extra special. The crowd at Full Sail, I gave them massive props last night after I watched the 6-woman tag, which I'm really kind of still pissed that they didn't bother to advertise that on Raw because that was really entertaining. And then to bring Lillian back to do this, that was really cool.
Although Lillian did get a bigger pop than Kyrie, which is a problem.
Well, that's the problem.
I thought they were very in
front of this audience. Like, people know who Lillian is, but I'm guessing a lot of that crowd hadn't been watching the tournament, and so it's a shame. But
those of you who are watching on our YouTube channel right now, send us questions, all that. Somebody said Shayna looks like sister. That was actually something I mentioned, like, I think last year on the show. I was like, they could have her as like her bully older sister that just beat the shit out of her when she was little or something. But they've kind of exposed that now, and she is who she is. She's former UFC fighter Shayna Baszler. I loved Shayna trotting the ring like it was an MMA ring. I thought that was a good touch. Sane right off the bat transitioned into pins out of Baszler's submissions, and I thought that was a really good way to show that both of these were threats no matter where they were at. Anna, what did you think about the opening? Because Shayna's wrestling style is way different than any other woman.
Oh, completely. It's a casual beating of fuck. She just goes in for a kick, moves back. But she's shown throughout the tournament that she can ramp it up, and when the frustration kicks in, and it's just more of it's her style, and I really like it. It's a nice mix up to put into the mix. And the thing about putting her against Kairi Sane is you look at Kairi Sane, who is 5'1" and a pirate queen, and you do not expect that kind of punishment to be taken by a girl of that size. And that's the thing that stood out to me in the last round as well. With Mercedes Martinez and Baszler, you kind of expected it to be hard-hitting, in-your-face kind of a match. But it was Toni Storm and Kairi Sane that, for me, I was at the gym when I watched this, and I can just see out of the corner of my eye everyone looking, going, what the fuck is she watching? Because it was insane, some of the bumps that they took and some of the hits. I'm ranting now, but I'm just really happy.
Jeff, one of the things I noticed was that Shayna wasn't giving Kairi a lot. She was saying, you can take it, but I'm not going to give it to you, type of thing. Like,
yeah, there's a little no selling here, or slight no selling a bit here. Yeah, and lay it in because I can take it. I mean, and there are people like that who just Flair and Garvin. I mean, I've been watching a lot of that lately, and that's what reminded the Mercedes Shayna chop fest going on there. That thing was brutal. I thought the beginning of the match a little bit plotting, to be honest with you. I think it picked up as they found their natural rhythm, but at the beginning you could tell that that there was a little bit of a clash of comfort in there, but it got around to it. I think part of that might also be this commentary wasn't very good today. I was about to say they were very self-aware, except for putting Lita and Jim Ross on commentary. It would have been much better with
I thought Mauro Ranallo and maybe like Ivory or somebody like that would have been good. Like virtually anybody.
Great.
I thought
Phoenix was great yesterday.
Yeah, the Tom Phillips, Nigel McGuinness, Beth Phoenix booth did just fine. I mean, if you had paired Mauro with Beth, or maybe Mauro, Nigel, and Beth, I think it would have been quite good.
Sometimes I forget Nigel's there, but they seem to, they like him. They like him a lot from what I'm told, so that's good. Baszler just obliterates Kairi Sane with a head kick, one of the best I've seen recently in pro wrestling. Kairi starts working the ribs, and it looks like she was maybe giving receipts for some of those hard shots that she was taking. She was going full force. Mr. Elbow got caught in a rear naked choke. Rolled down my cheek when Shayna Baszler applied a double wrist lock on the top rope, and eventually the insane elbow. The way that it was being set up, I thought Baszler was going to crawl and Kairi Sane was going to land it when she was like on all fours, which would have been badass, but
yeah,
too safe, Jeff.
Oh yeah, that. I'll give one thing I really liked. I know Shayna did this in the earlier rounds. I just like old school heel things like kicking a person in the head when they're trying to crawl up and get down, which Shayna does very good. Just kind of putting the boot to the head and shoving her down. I think that it's those little things in the performance that I really, really liked. Yeah, no, I was a bit surprised by this. I was a little surprised that Kairi didn't do a lot of the aerial stuff she did in the earlier rounds, that they didn't kind of take off the reins and just say, yeah, both of you can just go at this and steal the show. It was a very, I wouldn't call it a subdued performance, but it's just a half a step above subdued, I thought, from Kairi. But still, I mean, I love, the double chop, I think is great. And I was surprised that when the elbow hit, that Shayna wasn't on all fours, that didn't go straight into her back.
Yeah, I thought that would have been an interesting way to end things. Triple H, before all this, said that win, lose, or draw, it's my pleasure to welcome Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler to WWE. Do you think that means Shayna's signed, Anna?
Hopefully, probably. I mean, they're really milking this horsewoman versus horsewoman angle. I'll get more onto that later. Actually, no, I'll talk about it here. When they showed Shayna Baszler backstage before the fight, and Ronda Rousey was really, trying to get her revved up and everything, I just felt this pang of, I really want to see her versus Steph McMahon. And I've never felt that once before. But then I thought, if you actually set this up where it is a WWE versus UFC horsewomen thing, but beyond, it becomes a locker room thing. And then you have women on the WWE side who want to defer to the UFC side because they feel like they've been overlooked by WWE for the last however long. That could be something incredible, and that's inclusive, and it's not just about the celebrity and the, McMahon.
Jeff, I'll ask you a question that was posed to me recently, I think by Kyler James, actually. What happens to Sonya Deville?
Yeah.
The answer I had is, well, she's 24.
Yeah, you could possibly... I mean, you'd always do a thing where Shayna takes her under her wing and do that, but they're not going to like having two people with the quote unquote same gimmick, especially one who is light years in terms of legitimacy above the other. And she just got repackaged again, or at least she got renamed. So she may be off TV for a while.
I would definitely have her work with Baszler, because there are little things that you learn as you train MMA. As they're getting up, just those little nuances, because for so long she wasn't letting anybody get up.
Mm-hmm.
She was bumping for a long time. She was doing front bumps and side falls and rolls and all that stuff, and back rolls and all that as a part of her catch as catch can wrestling training. But she wasn't making a habit out of giving her opponents anything on the mats there. I thought the match was solid. I thought it was a good match. I'll have my match ratings up tomorrow at noon for this, 7 a.m. for Smackdown tomorrow. Also in the post-match, I thought having Sarah Amato there was a great touch and something that they should have had. Anna, what do you think of the post-match, the trophy, the presentation, Triple H and Steph out there?
I just love the fact that Kairi Sane was half the size of that trophy. They brought out Sarah Amato and Triple H and Steph for when the two women won the last round. And apparently someone said that there was also a thank you to Sarah that wasn't shown on the broadcast yesterday, which I was kind of hoping that they would have said something today, but I don't know, maybe eventually they'll put it up online. I mean, like what I think we've like we said, they were put in a tough spot. Vince McMahon got his head cracked open at the end of SmackDown. It was kind of it was a really unfortunate place to do this. I think they did an amazing job given the circumstances. And I think they told a really great story with what they did. I didn't have any issue with Kairi not going as aerial as she has been because, she has been the entire tournament. It's been a lot of bumps and a lot of pain, and they focused on telling a more realistic story today. I think they did a fantastic job.
Jeff, I mean, you know how I feel about the catch-as-catch-can wrestling style and bringing that type of stuff over. Like, I love watching Matt Riddle work. I love watching Shayna work. Was always a fan of Brock when he took that. You're not going to see these people like hitting the ropes a lot. They stick to their strengths, and for some people they enjoy it, for some people they don't. But how do you think it's going to play to this larger crowd if it makes its way up to the main roster? Because I get the feeling that 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen ain't happening at Full Sail. So,
well, I mean, overall, I find women's wrestling to be as close to 80s men's territory wrestling as I can in terms of athleticism and how every woman is just a little bit different. In this world of what we basically have are a bunch of gymnast and fitness models who are men doing kind of the same things. All the women kind of have different moves. I think I don't want the horsewomen versus horsewomen feud. That's me. But that's me being a bit of a purist also, and not understanding, quote unquote, the business aspect of it, because, I want the division to be stronger and a little bit more athletically respected rather than going after the spectacle and headlines to then have fans follow it. As for the style, I think toughness is needed in the women's division. I think anytime you see something like a Sasha and Becky from Full Sail, and you see how people take to that as the story goes on, I think it's only a positive versus, say, what the Divas were doing back in the day. I think it's a nice evolution. I don't think a pure MMA style will get over necessarily, but with a little bit of flash in there, I think it'll be fine. I'm still getting over the look. I don't mind Sarah Amato being out there. I don't mind Triple H being out there. What the heck does Stephanie have to do with anything?
Come on, she started the women's revolution. She ushered it in,
okay.
Jeff.
Okay, sure she did. No,
she saw all the potential in these women, and she put them in trios, and away they went.
Look, if I could just have, if I could have a women's division, with good enough ring work, compelling enough stories and interviews where I'm forgetting that, this is time for the women, and hopefully it won't be something like a cat fight or fighting over a boy, I'll be happy. But I also don't view this tournament as I don't think they were trying to say like the UK tournament or the Cruiserweight Classic. I don't think they were trying to expand the roster or put anybody out of business here. I think it was mostly to see what they had in the PC and how their training was standing up to the women's indies. But that's me. That's just an opinion I have.
Any other thoughts as we close off the Mae Young Classic talk, Anna?
Just stuff that from Jeff. I think it was more, there's nothing like this on this kind of a stage before. And Hunter is the one bringing this in, and until Hunter is the one that can have a wider reign of things, there's only so much that I think that WWE are going to do in terms of this stuff. And I don't know, I think this is his way of testing it and testing the waters, seeing what they had out there, but also how it would be received, how this could all come together, and kind of a roundabout presentation of, look what we have, let's go this direction because people want it.
Oh, I think it's a net positive for the company. I think it's a net positive for their performance center. I think it's a net positive for women's wrestling. So I think even if they don't sign 16 people from this tournament, I think it's a net positive for the women who have to go back out there and still work it in, like small moose lodges in Illinois and things of that nature. So, and plus it filled content on the network, and it was a nice test to see, will this binge watching thing work if we do it again as well. So there's nothing really negative to take out of this tournament for any party involved.
Mm-mm.
Now we're going to talk SmackDown Live, a big episode. Now what I have to ask is, do you think that Vince McMahon looked at the schedule and he said, God damn it, pal, the women and the little guys are next. Let's get me concussed. Because that's what happened. He ate it at the end of Monday, or at the end of SmackDown Live. Boy, did he eat it. And we will get into that. Kevin Owens opens the show, carries a 10-minute promo talking about the changes he'll make when he owns SmackDown Live. And Anna, the way things went throughout the night, I don't know how they expect me to not cheer for Kevin Owens to be in control of SmackDown Live.
Kevin Owens was that one kid in high school that would relentlessly prod the teacher until the teacher cracked, and then the kid went and told their parents, and then the parents reported the teacher to the school board. And for some reason, you want to hate the guy, but you just have to cheer him for his good work. It's like this fine prowess of just that poking, constantly poking. That whole opening segment was excellent. Except for him threatening to cancel Fashion Files. But
firing Sami Zayn.
Well, but
threatening to make Byron and Tom Phillips wear the single same suit.
I need to see that now. I need to see that. I'm sorry.
They got to do that. Those two got to do that for Halloween, yeah? Like, that has to be their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
The only
Tom Phillips has to stay at Byron's parents' house where he lives with him because they share the same suit. Sorry, Anna.
Oh, it's okay. Now I'm just picturing them as, Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly and Step Brothers. The only thing I didn't like about this was Ziggler. Just go home. Just go home. But we did get to see Kevin Owens' reaction to Shano's music, and that was fantastic.
SmackDown.
Go ahead.
SmackDown does have a Halloween edition this year, guys. I just want to say.
I actually liked Ziggler and Owens' interplay here. It's almost a Statler and Waldorf type thing from the Muppet Show. I don't know what it was, but it was the only interesting time Ziggler was on screen tonight. Was the banter between those two. And let's give a little credit where credit is due. Byron Saxton's F off look to Kevin Owens is fantastic. That just staring a death stare into Kevin Owens was just great.
Yeah, I liked the Ziggler thing. I thought it fit pretty well, and I like that Kevin Owens is like palling up with other heel wrestlers. Like, he gets along with them well. We'll talk more about that in a bit. When Shane's music hit, Kevin Owens just screamed, "No! No!" Daniel Bryan comes out to a great ovation. Bryan tells Kevin that he's not going to like what Vince has to say. Owens says that Vince won't like what he has to say. Usually when he'll say stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I really bought it when Kevin Owens said it because he said it with such conviction. It just went over very well. Backstage later, Kevin Owens walks up to Aiden English. And talks about how much of a fan he is of his singing. I love this, that Kevin Owens just is pulling for Aiden English and says that he wants him to sing the SmackDown theme song. Anna, I read you the Billy Kidman lyrics. Would Aiden English lyrics be better or worse?
I think any lyrics that don't involve date rape are better. it's definitely a step in the right direction. I just thought this was very smart of Kevin Owens, just outsourcing. He's very resourceful. I like this. I think Kevin Owens show has a lot of potential.
I want this too. I want an intro. I want a brand new theme song. I just want it to be just instead of mentioning Smackdown anywhere, just the Kevin Owens show featuring Kevin Owens. Just 1 week. Just 1 week.
To tie in, Dolph Ziggler later came out, ran through a bunch of entrances again. Bayley, Ultimate Warrior. I think they're setting up a Bobby Roode program, Jeff.
I do too. Bailey's a step too far, though. Ziggler, you keep Bailey out of it. But yeah, no. I think next week is we get Glorious, and then that's just a step too far.
I'll ask you both this: how is Dasha Fuentes still in this role?
I don't know what you're talking about, Sean.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. I figured Dasha is trolling Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer by now because he's been calling her a robot for weeks. And then she came
a robot would be an improvement.
Robot.
You can program a robot.
Yeah, you can program a robot. God.
Man, this was bad. Rusev says that he's on the road to redemption after disappointing his country. Cool, bro. Greg Hamilton is an awesome ring announcer. He makes Ty Dillinger's entrance better every time. Like, it's really good. AJ Styles defeated Ty Dillinger. Dillinger controlled much of the match, hit his finish when Baron Corbin tried to run in, but apparently one punch just puts out Baron Corbin for like 10 minutes. Like one punch. Dillinger eventually taps to the calf crusher. There was a little thing, like, the calf crusher, after Dillinger tapped out, he was like holding his leg, sold it like crazy. It was really great. He gazed over at the United States title, and it's just that little thing. It's the little things that you do where I was like, I don't think he's done with this. Or at the very least, Ty Dillinger, the guy performing him, doesn't want us to think that he's done with this, because that was a good touch. Corbin attacks Styles, says that he's challenging for the title next week. Anna, what'd you think of all this?
I thought it was a great match. They both sold beautifully at the end. Dillinger with his calf, but also AJ just looks spent, and that in itself puts Dillinger over greatly. I just really didn't want Corbin to interfere, and they could have done the ending that they did, but that spot was kind of unnecessary. There was a almost distraction roll up, but then nothing really came from that. I just thought Dillinger deserved a really solid showing at this point, and he got it, but it was just this added distraction that was unnecessary. And I'm just going to start calling Corbin Nelson Muntz from now on, because that's just what his gimmick is.
Somebody on the chat's asking us what's next for Ty Dillinger. I don't know. I think he's in the same boat as Sami Zayn, where if he gets beat, it doesn't really hurt him because nobody's expecting major things. I would like a Dillinger Zayn like tag team here and there, especially if they're splitting the Hype Bros up. You've got more room there. I don't know what the hell they're doing with the Hype Bros, but Jeff, your thoughts on the United States title match?
Mine echo, and I said last week, I wanted a clean match. I didn't want Corbin involved at all. I have a weird feeling that maybe this turns into, maybe Dillinger comes down next week and interferes in that match, and this becomes a three-way type of situation for whatever the next pay-per-view is. But I don't know. The match itself was fine. It's just once Corbin interfered, it kind of became what you thought it would become. You know, you get the fake roll-up finish, you get the finisher that they kick out of, and then eventually the pin. I thought Dillinger looked good here, but I don't think he was helped very much.
Yeah, I don't think he was hurt very much either. I mean,
no.
Nah. I'm told Breezango are on 205 Live right now doing a thing with Drew Gulak. I'll have to check that out later.
I'll be back.
Jinder Mahal insinuates that he is charismatic, and he also insinuates constipated. He makes a really bad Godzilla joke, and then he calls WWE fans stupid for laughing. Now, I didn't think this promo was good, but that being said, it was the most creative promo they've had him cut yet, because he was like, if you laughed at that, you were stupid. And I tweeted that I hope it was an ad lib, and that as soon as he went backstage, Vince was like, God damn it, pal, what are you doing? The Godzilla line was good shit. Because if somebody wrote it, it was probably Vince. Jeff, the same promo pretty much out of Jinder Mahal, but it's got a little new edge on it as opposed to you people.
It was a little too clever by half. It was a decent enough idea where it's like, we're gonna say all these terrible, slightly racist things, and then if you react, you're the bad guy. It's just Jinder's not the guy who can pull it off.
It didn't suck.
Yeah, that was the problem. It was like one bad joke too many, and then the turn came, and you're just like, okay, whatever. The Singh brothers laughing uproariously did not get old for me. That part,
great.
Them selling for Jinder's bad jokes made the segment passable, especially when he said constipated, and they're like doing charades of being. Is that what you all think constipated means? Okay, cool.
I hate it because we're laughing, and I am one of you people, apparently. Anna, did Jinder show you anything new besides constipation mimes?
Well, my favorite part about this was the cool skull logo in the Hell in a Cell promo that they showed. That's about it. It was a thing of, those guys are racist, insert racist joke. See, that's what they'll say. It's like, well, no, because you're saying it. So technically, and then, but the crowd didn't seem to be laughing at his jokes. And that was also kind of unfortunate, because that was the whole crux of the promo. I just hated it. And it was kind of ironic that the guy who walks around as if he smelled a really nasty shot was calling Nakamura constipated. I just kind of wanted Seth Rollins' theme song and the Screaming Goat to come out and burn it down.
The Screaming Goat?
That's what... Go on my Twitter. I remade the video.
So there are a lot of people, for some reason, questioning if Jinder is going to be on these Raw dates when they go to India in December. Of course he's going to be on the damn dates. They don't care what brand he's on. If I were WWE, I'd put the Singh brothers, and I'd get Kavita in there for a squash match too, based on the numbers she's done. I would get her signed immediately and just be like, just go on, just hang around when we go on tour in India if that's what you got to do, because she did great numbers there, and I didn't think she really looked that bad during the tournament because they protected her very well. They played to her strengths and not her weaknesses. Smackdown Tag Team Championship, Sin City Street Fight. New Day defeated Usos to become 4-time Tag Team Champions. The Usos defeated or kicked New Day's asses early, brought out kendo sticks, tied up Big E briefly. Air stomp was really cool. Like, he threw one of the Usos a chair and did like a mushroom stomp, like Mario style, off the top rope. That was really cool. And then he heaved a chair at an Uso, and they gave him one back. They caught him on the trust fall and hit him with one of the most hideous throws into the barricade I've ever seen. He was very lucky to not be hurt. Yeah.
And the way he
these two have great chemistry. Yeah, Anna, these two have great chemistry. It finished with that awesome table bump to the outside.
I love this match. I was kind of hoping it would end up on the casino floor and breaking a slot machine or something, but it was such a fun match to watch. And they went to town on each other. Kofi, I think, was on Jay with the kendo stick. He obliterated the kendo stick. I can't imagine what that guy's back looks like right now. And I love to think that in the land of kayfabe, given that this was a street match, that is actually just what the New Day wear in their everyday life. There's one point. Did you see, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Big E must have been really bored at home or something, so he posted a video of himself doing ninja kicks to the air.
We did a story on it, Anna.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's all I could think about during a good portion of this match. I love that guy so much. And yeah, the chair throw. the chair throw has now, it's up there with wrestlers versus barricades for me. So that made my night. I really love this match.
As did I. Jeff, your thoughts on this match?
The match was great. I question a bit changing the titles right now, but you know what? You can have these two switch the belts, and it's never going to be effective. Not necessarily effective. It's not going to be a detriment to anybody because all you got to do is just change the New Day spiel over and over. I know it's 25 years removed, but street fights to me always mean half shirts, jeans tucked into cowboy boots, knee pads over the jeans, and weight belts. I don't want guys coming out in the normal gear for a street fight. I just don't. I don't know why that makes me annoyed because I don't think you'd be coming out in the clown suits, but that's WWE. So I'll put
over the Pope D'Angelo Dinero's commentary because I never really knew the kayfabe explanation before he explained it on TNA. He said it's because gear is expensive and they don't want to tear up their damn gear going through tables and chairs and tax and all that stuff. And he said
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
I'm like, damn, that makes sense. He's like, a pair of jeans costs $15 or $20. New gear costs thousands of dollars. And I was like, you know what? That makes sense. I would love if WWE just ran a weekly thing of Corey Graves explaining shit like that. That would be great.
That said, there were a couple of bumps here. I mean, the over the top one by the Uso, and then later the through the table thing wasn't exactly the smoothest in the world. I mean, those things are always dangerous. So I mean, props to those guys. I'm glad I didn't have to see a Big E dive to the outside. I'm actually relieved that they kind of restrained themselves from doing that, maybe through a table. But overall, I mean, these two teams really don't have bad matches against each other. So it was a lot of fun.
That didn't necessarily extend to Natalya and Naomi. I hated this match, Jeff.
No, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Carmella wasn't good. Carmella's new gear isn't very good. It just nothing was good about this.
How long, Anna, before they make a freak on a leash reference in regards to James Ellsworth? Oh, that would be the best if he came out and he said, "I'm Carmella's freak on a leash."
Oh god,
gimp outfit.
Well, perfect because he reminds me of the pretty fly for a white guy dude from the Offspring video.
Yeah,
and it's
the era, you know.
It's all related. So as soon as they announced that Carmella was on commentary, I was like, for crying out loud, you have to put someone else in commentary for another and then I saw the leash, and then everything went out the window. He was going to try and choke Natty with his leash. That's it.
You know what he needs? He needs a Princess Leia type of bikini. That's what he needs.
I can't ever get that out of my head now. Okay, before I completely throw up and lose it. So Natty won. Natty retained. I really hope that they have been holding off and saving Charlotte and Becky for a possible horsewoman thing because they have to be planning something with them, right? There has to be a reason as to why we have not seen them on TV or they aren't in a bigger or an angle. It doesn't make sense. It really does not make any sense.
Some breaking news right now. Kairi Sane will compete for the NXT Women's title at TakeOver in November.
Nice.
Yes. Didn't say against two, but Triple H told ESPN that. So there you go. I think it's 2.5 months is a while to not have a title or a champion, but hey.
Yeah, I read it was going to be a multi-woman match, but we'll see about that.
What if they do some kind of NXT female tournament?
That'd be, yeah, they could do that. Have the winner of that go up against Kairi Sane for winning the Mae Young Classic. That would be cool. Naomi's kicks look real bad, and production's trying to hide it now by making the camera cuts. They are just shit. Like, Jeff, at what point does an agent come up and say, Naomi, they look like shit. Stop doing them. And I say the same thing about Roman Reigns and his corner clotheslines all the time.
I
Stop
think
doing it. It looks like shit.
Well, they're not because they get a reaction. So they're not going to do that. They're
Ugh.
going to say make them crisper, maybe lay into them a little. But she's not going to stop that spot anytime soon because it gets a minor pop every time she does it.
She does a nice wheel kick where she goes up and over, which I thought looked a lot better. I'm like, just stick with that instead. That looks a lot better. Also, I do not like moves that require your opponent to hold on to the top rope to keep themselves up. It looks bad. Carmel's worth eat a body press, and I hope Carmella's knees are okay because that's what took the blow, were her kneecaps. Natalya wins. Wasn't very good. Anna, anything to add to this?
Ellsworth is on a leash. That was my biggest takeaway. And now I've still got him dressed as Princess Leia in my head.
You're welcome.
Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin defeated the Hype Bros. This was short and sweet, just served to get Gable and Jordan to win. Benjamin forgot to tag in Gable. Been a while, I guess.
Did he?
Yeah.
I thought that was done on purpose. I thought he was going to do. I thought it was held. I thought it was held for a little bit too long so that Gable could then tag and go, oh. I thought that's part of the story of the two not meshing.
Based on your theory that they're not meshing and that Shelton doesn't really want to do this, that would make a lot of sense because it seemed egregious. Poor Gable.
No, I think it was supposed to be egregious where he was trying to set him up for the power bomb. He wasn't quite getting it, so Gable just decides to tag in because you could see at the afterwards, before they hugged or bip, Shelton threw a couple looks Gable's way, I think, and it was subtle, but it's there. I think the story is still the same.
Anna, anything on this very short match?
Just that they kept mentioning that Mojo went to rehab, and I'm guessing that's some hip disco rave that all the kids are going to and not a medical facility. Or am I missing something?
No, it's a club at one of the hotels in Vegas.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. That's about it then. Cool.
Did they mention Gronk being there with him? Because I'm sure he was.
Oh, I'm sure.
No, it's during the season. I don't think it was his day off. I don't think.
No, I'm sure he
Come on, it's Gronk. It's Gronk.
Oh, you're right. Daddy Gronk might have been there. That whole family.
Gronk DDT'd a guy on stage while he had a broken arm with a cast on. He doesn't care.
Fair.
It was a bad DDT too. He didn't grab the head. He grabbed the body and DDT'd him with his body. It was so weird looking. Vince McMahon and KO. Owens brings out Vince McMahon, and it really seemed like a Vince McMahon dick measuring segment early on. He just unraveled it, pulled out the tape measure, and said, let's see if we still got it, folks. He makes a fat joke about Kevin Owens. He said that only cowards sue people. Now, keep in mind, Vince sued WCW. Said that he's never lost. Now, keep in mind, he has lost.
Ventura.
The World Wildlife Fund, CM Punk.
He hasn't lost
Austin.
CM Punk yet, but Jesse Ventura.
He settled. He settled out of court with CM Punk. Believe me, he lost to CM Punk.
Okay.
But, it has happened. I almost threw Marty Garner's name in, but I don't think he ever sued. He just got pedigreed really, really hard. Vince books Shane and Kevin Owens for Hell in a Cell. How do you feel about that match coming up, Anna?
That was expected. Yeah. Okay. I won't get into that yet. I think the whole talking himself up, it was classic Vince, but given what happened at the end of it, it was merited. You could kind of guess that Vince would have at least wanted to remind everyone of who he is and how much money he has before getting his head cracked open. So,
sure, Jeff. Vince has aged quite a bit in the last few years.
Mm-hmm. I'm still, and I may be way out of line here. I'm a little disturbed at Vince going out there, kind of running down people that are friends of Owens. You know, CM Punk and I think Owens were at least, you know, contemporaries, and then taking a shoot headbutt when your general manager is out for concussion reasons and is probably never coming back. Just, you know, if you read too much into it, it's kind of a subtle F you to Daniel Bryan for being quote unquote weak and getting concussions. Look, I'll take this shot. What's wrong with that? Props to him for taking the frog splash. That's insane at his age. As is the headbutt, but I still think the optics of Vince taking a headbutt while Daniel Bryan had to retire due to head trauma is a little the disconnect there is a bit disturbing, but overall I like the angle.
I don't think he would have read into it like that, to be honest. I think there was a lot of double layer there with, you know, calling him a coward for suing, and I think Vince may have been, you know, working out a few things by adding in that line. But I think it was more Vince's mentality to me has always seemed to be all or nothing, and he's going to give this company all. And I don't know.
Don't get me wrong.
Think it was that deliberate.
No, he always says he won't do anything that he will. I mean, he won't expect anybody to do anything he himself would not do. I get that part of it. The headbutt part is the only part that really bothers me just a little bit because of the whole Daniel Bryan thing. That's it, and it doesn't bother me that much.
Well, it did bust him open. It busted Vince open, and Vince would try to make it to his feet and just get beat on, and then finally Vince is prone, laying on the mat. Adam Pearce comes out to save him. Doesn't work. He eats a big frog splash. A big frog splash. Kevin Owens walks away kind of like, what did I do? Yeah, I just did that. Also, I thought it was the clever line of, give me your word that if provoked, I can knock a McMahon senseless. And you can kind of see what was coming there, but still a clever way to make it happen, establish the angle. Guys, this could very well be the last time that Vince McMahon ever physically put somebody over. Ever.
I just love on those last seconds before it cut to the Chris Lee show and before I turned over to Neville, just in case you weren't sure where Vince was hurt. Oh, my ribs. Really, Vince? Is that where you hurt? Is that you think? It's not your pelvis. It's not your ankle. It's your ribs. Okay, cool. It just went, yeah, it's a little on the nose.
I guess if you did actually take a frog splash, you would be complaining that your ribs hurt, though. So
well, he's already holding them and grimacing, and then he just, oh, my ribs.
Jesus Christ. Stephanie McMahon makes an appearance after all this, and this is I believe, her first on-screen appearance in any sort of Raw SmackDown capacity since the table bump. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I mean, she's obviously going to be there for the Classic anyway. It would be...
Might as well.
Yeah, it'd be weird if she didn't come out, I think. The pleasure of seeing Vince McMahon beaten up in a ring has vastly changed over the last 10 years. It was... the headbutt initially, I hate headbutts, and I never want to see them again in a ring. I did not expect it to draw blood. I did not expect... You knew that he was going to use his words against him and start beating him up. I just did not expect that. And surely that merited more than 3 refs coming out and wildly waving their arms around. Like the owner of the company is bleeding from his head. Like, surely other people would want to come out at that point. I love this, though. They have just...
Well, as far as wrestlers go, I mean, some of them might have been changing. You know, they're hitting the shower, stuff like that. So, I mean, also, and getting from the locker room right down to that ring in a couple minutes is easier said than done.
I would have loved to have seen a guy just run out in a towel, like soap suds still in his hair.
Was it Danilo who yelled, "That's your boss"? That just... That's the other part. That just cracked me up unexpectedly. It's like Danilo just turns to Kevin Owens. That's your boss.
Fantastic.
Really? Oh man, I read something on Twitter that interested me about this with the Stephanie involvement. Is it possible at all that they are laying the seeds for Triple H and Kevin Owens at Mania? And this is the beginning.
Anna?
Possibly. I mean, they have brought up a few times now. Hunter gave him the title, literally handed it to him. Especially if they're going to move this with Shayna to Hell in a Cell, it would make sense that they would push this way. They've just given KO the biggest freaking rub we've seen in a very long time. So anything is possible at this point.
The last guy, if I remember, who was the last guy to attack Vince McMahon, Jeff?
Oh.
Was it Punk?
Believe that.
What
was it? It was Reigns.
It might have been Reigns.
It was
he
Reigns.
Shoved him though, didn't he? He didn't like beat his ass.
TLC.
Wasn't there that one where Vince came down to be like a referee or something like that, and he got hit accidentally, or he was he was coming down to the ring, he got on the apron, he accidentally got punched, I think, by Reigns.
I think it's the Reigns. I thought it was the Reigns thing, like in 2015.
TLC,
Yep. So a big Smackdown live tonight, big event. They ran it all in Vegas. They wanted to bridge that gap between Smackdown pay-per-views. And Anna, I'm okay with them doing this stuff if it makes for shows like this. I'm good not having to work a Sunday night.
Yeah. Tonight was very, very big, unexpected night. And I mean, they need to do stuff like this to keep eyes watching. They need to do this stuff to bring audience members back who might have tuned out for a little while.
Or they could put a pointless 8-man tag on as the main event.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they could do.
I think this card was very important to be big as a lead-in for the Mae Young finals as well. I really think that they put a lot of thought into how can we make this seem like a big deal for the finals and get people over to the network. And I think it did a well enough job to do that. And they did, and they plugged it enough on the actual broadcast for SmackDown at least that I think it was a net positive for the Sane Baszler match.
I would agree. Guys, we're going to have more on all this tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern on The List and your boy. This weekend, we had Triple G versus Canelo coverage. Carlos coming at you with the solo podcast. I'll be in Orlando. I'm going to the tapings on Thursday. They moved them back a day, so now I'm able to go. That should be a lot of fun. If you're in the Orlando area, let me know. I'd love to see you there. Anna, tell the people where they can follow you on social media.
At Anna Bauert, Bauert, and I'm on YouTube somewhere. I don't know the name, and I can't change it.
Jeff.
Yes. You can follow me at CrapGame13. You can follow the other show I do at Shake Them Ropes. Rob's back this week. Glow's back this week. Everything's back to normal this week.
Is anything ever really normal?
With Rob, no. He got annoyed by that. He got annoyed by that "eat the damn hat" hashtag.
Well, if you just eat the friggin' hat, it would go away.
It's a good point. He makes a point. You can follow me at Sean Ross Sapp. Visit us at Fightful.com. We have forums, photos, videos, results, news, exclusives across MMA, pro wrestling, and boxing. You all have to check out Carlos Toro's Fightful Boxing newsletter. If you're not really a fan of boxing but looking to get into it, he gives you a great primer on things. Makes it so easy. Of course, we have new videos up on our YouTube all the time. A couple of guests tomorrow on The List and Your Boy podcast. I believe it's Vince Russo and DDP tomorrow, and I'm talking to some more people next week, actually. Join us, Fightful online, all across social media, and Fightful.com and FightfulPods.com on the web. Until next time, we're out.